Good morning and welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm sitting here this morning working on It's All Gravy, and I'm doing a few different things. I was working on it last night while I was watching movies and doing some Christmassy stuff, and I'm looking at how I'm filling in all of the paisley in the background, and I did a little bit of filling in the corner here of this motif. You see the first corner I filled in some of the sort of feathery design, and I wasn't liking it at all. This area here, I did it with plaids. Let me bring it in a little bit closer. Bring it right here. I did it with plaids. I used a bunch of different patterned wools that I had, and it is blending nicely into the paisley, but I just don't like it. It just, for this moment, it doesn't have very much punch. It is outlined with the black I showed you in an earlier video, but it just doesn't have much punch. So I had to kind of leave that alone for a moment, and I came to the female turkey's dress, and I was really trying to decide, and mine is the largest version of this pattern. I've got a lot of the yellow paisley, and I was trying to decide, what other colors do I want in here? I don't necessarily want all holiday colors, but I don't necessarily not. I'm just not sure. I'm feeling it out as I go along. I decided I wanted her dress to be pink. I wanted her to be dressed kind of romantically in a nice pink dress, a fetching looking dress for the male turkey. And I decided to take out a bunch of my sweaters. And I have 3 values of sweaters here, like actual sweaters that I spent some time last night cutting up. This is the lightest value. I cut them up with my scissors, and I cut them up to be about this wide. How wide is that? I'm not really sure. Like a half an inch, something like that. Really depends on the sweater too, right? And I pull them a little bit so they're stretchy, and I make sure that I'm not hooking them on the side that is really heavily textured and ribbed, because that's the side that wants to curl in. You see what I mean? I make sure I hook them on this side, with this side coming up as the loop. This is naturally the side that wants to make the loop. So I've just been sitting here with the scissors, and these are all sweaters that I got at the thrift store, or that got holes in them, or that I outgrew, or the kids outgrew, that kind of thing. So I just cut the ribbing off because the ribbing isn't super useful to me. I save the ribbing later for like a pin cushion, or if I'm feeling cold, right? It works well like that. If I'm leaning against the comb and I don't have my frame protector on. So I was just sitting here last night watching the Hallmark movies. It is Christmas after all, and I usually fold the sweater in half, and then just with my scissors eyeball it, right? I'm not looking for perfection, but hooking with cut up sweaters is so easy and mushy. It just goes a lot faster. It's going to be a hard reach for me up here. I've got to reposition on my frame, but I'm going to be careful about where I pull the loop up. I'm trying not to bring up too many tails when I hook with sweaters, because the tails look a little bit different. And if it doesn't bother you, then just ignore that remark. I've got it on the wrong side. I can see I'm all rippled up there. So I'm just going to pull back and twist. It's hard to tell when my hand is on it whether I've got a good side or a bad side until I pull it up. But I want the prettier side to show. And if I'm going to run a line of loops, right down the strip, I want to be sure I'm holding it in a way, the strip underneath. I want to be holding it in a way that the loop comes up the prettiest every time. So you figure that out with your loop and your fingers underneath. And if it's coming up all raggledy-taggledy, then you probably want to flip it over and try again, because sweater loops should come up big and fat and lustrous and really beautiful. That's what I call beautiful, right? Those big, nice, big loops. And I did the kind of, this'll be more apparent in a little while when I finish hooking it, but this is the kind of wavy cap to her sleeve that she's got, the little hem on the sleeve. And this is some of the stuff I did last night. This is all sweater material. And I did this while I was watching like one film, not even 100% paying attention, but I think it came out really well. I really like the body. The Morning Sun is pretty harsh, but it does have a lot of color change in the body. She is, as a turkey, she is a very solid form, right? She is the largest solid form in the piece, her dress. So it's important to me that her dress looks good and is a color that I like. And for me, I like the shades of the sort of, this is like a rosy kind of pink, right? Rose carnation kind of pink next to the yellowy paisley that I'm using. I feel that goes really well together. The only thing that I'm really worried about at this moment are these corners, and really it's the whole border. I'm just not liking the way that's coming out. I'm going to go a little bit further and think it through, but the reason I put the colored plaids in was because I thought it went well with the busy paisley background. But now I'm feeling like I don't think it's adding much. The very fact that the each individual feather is its own pattern for me is looking really negative because I feel like it's competing with the paisley background. It's very static and it is falling into the background, but I was hoping that the border feathers would be a bit more of a feature. So it could well be that I pull all of them out and do them solid in a different color. My next move as I sit here is going to be to do her little turkey legs. So I brought out a bunch of oranges, and I'm just going to have to choose which ones are going to work. I've got a few different shades of orange right there, sorry. And, oh, that one's definitely not going to work because it's too close to this. But I'm going to figure that out. I might even just do them in the black outlining, you know. I wanted them to be a little bit orange. I'll have to see how I work that. I'll show you when I figure it out. But this is going to be the next thing that I put this in for the beak and the legs, and then I work the rest of the way around. And then I really do need to address all of these feathers. And I guess one of the things I'm thinking, which seems I'm thinking two things. Because the background is so warm, right? This paisley is so yellowy, red, and warm, but it does have that kind of fruitcake feel with the pops of green, doesn't it? I could, in theory, do the turkey feathers in traditional Christmassy colors like maroon, cranberry, red, green, forest green. I could do that. And I might end up doing that because now I've got the pink dress as a major feature. And that's not a traditional Christmas color. It might also be that I end up doing the turkey feather border in, I don't know, like pastels. I mean, I just feel like this warm sort of dark background is calling out for a cool light border. Just not sure. I'm going to have to figure it out. But in the meantime, see if you can work on your body and get some traction there. Cutting up a sweater is a great idea. Patterned sweater also could work. Just make sure you've got some strong outlining in so this form doesn't get lost in the busy background. If you've got a busy background happening, if you don't have a busy background, you're good. You could even do a pattern on this dress, polka dots, snowflakes, stripies, anything you want. I'm going to figure out some of the harder parts of what's next, and I will see you next time at Ribbon Candy Hooking.